Why do humans fear death? Thanatophobia is the name given to this fear. I'd also like to add that I am listening to music to be murdered by right now. Fitting, isn't it? Anyway, death. It's the end of everything. No more future, no more memories made with friends or family. If you believe in an afterlife, death may not be as scary, or maybe it's even more scary. Some of us do not fear death, either believing we deserve it, or no one would care, or just simply we don't fear it. Like elderly people, they seem to fear death a lot less, whether it's because they've accepted it or they're just ready. Maybe they have lived, made their memories, lived long, full lives, and are now ready to move on. So if you're around my age, which is 22, then the reason you may fear death is because you're not ready to stop living. Not die, but stop being able to live your life. Having fun with friends, getting married, having kids, if that seems fun to you. Or maybe you think life has nothing left to offer but pain, suffering, taxes, bills, and stress. Fearing death affects how we live. The more you fear death, the safer you drive. The less likely you are to do something dangerous. I'd also like to put this in here. I, for one, am not afraid to die. I don't want to, but I'm not afraid to. What I do fear, though, is the people I love being hurt or saddened. That scares me. Fearing death also makes us do things like carry a gun or stay away from airplanes. The fear of death also affects how we grieve. People who fear death are more likely to grieve longer after the loss of a loved one. Those who have accepted death are not as likely to grieve for as long. Maybe because those who fear death try to put it out of their minds and forget about it, thinking of it as less of a certainty and more of a possibility. For example, if you don't think you'll fall in love, then doing so comes as a surprise. But if you expect to, then when you do, you are not as shocked. Your lifestyle also has a huge effect on how you view death as well. Using skydivers as an example, because that's what Psychology Today used, and I'm only using one source because I hate research. Beginner skydivers who had only one jump on average were a lot more scared of death than intermediate skydivers, who had an average of 90 jumps. But in some Shyamalan plot twist, expert skydivers who had 700 or more jumps were more scared of death than intermediate skydivers. The reasoning behind why the most experienced skydivers would have a higher sense of fear for death is this. When you're a beginner, you don't really know what to do and you are inexperienced. This goes for anything. Shooting a gun to shooting a shot. Then you get some experience and now you think, I got this in the bag, and you get a little too comfortable, which could actually be a bad thing. Then once you become an expert, you discover you can't always cheat death. You also start to wonder how long until one small mistake is made and I realize too late. How long until I get too comfortable and make a mistake? The parachute is broken or you get too relaxed during free fall and time passes quicker than you think, and before you know it, it's too late to deploy your parachute. Having more experience also means you know just how much of a risk you are taking. A rookie cop would have more fear than a cop in the middle of his career when responding to a call, whereas a veteran cop would know just how possible it is that that call might be the last. Studies have also shown that healthier people tend to fear death a lot less, as the healthier people believe that there's more meaning to life and have a better mental health. These factors make them fear death less. They believe they are less likely to get sick from diseases such as cancer, diabetes, and others that can affect how long you'll live. While they are partially correct, even a healthy person can develop cancer or diabetes. It's just not as likely. You can't get addicted to cigarettes if you don't smoke, but you can still be affected by secondhand smoke. So back to the question, why don't we fear death? Well, there's many reasons that we have covered. Your age could affect how you view death, as kids aren't able to understand it, adults aren't ready, and elders have accepted it. It could also come from the fear of hell if you're religious, or the fear of ceasing to exist if you're not. Your experience in dangerous situations as a software developer may fear death more than a war veteran. And lastly, your physical and mental health. The healthier we are, the less likely we are to fear death, because we are not as susceptible to life-threatening diseases. There could be 100 other reasons why people fear death. Everyone is different, but whether you fear it or not, it is inevitable. So before the Reaper comes, try to make your time on Earth as meaningful and as fun as possible. If your view on death hasn't changed at all I can say is better luck next time. If it has, good night, wherever you are.